Hey, how's it going? And happy Sunday. So, had to think about what I wanted to do today, and I kind of sort of had it in my mind. A client a few days ago was talking about situations that happened in their past and what was upsetting them, and the fact that even though they've gotten sort of past those events and those things, they were very locked in to parts of their story that they just couldn't seem to get past. And when, I talk to the person, they want to be happy. That's what they tell me. And in their mind, their happiness was very centered on other people's opinions. And I'm not talking about opinions of their best friends, not opinions of those people they love or hold dearly. It was locked in on focusing on third party people that they didn't even know that well. And in this particular situation, someone had done them wrong. And I quite, wholeheartedly agreed that it really sounds like that person has done some very mean things to you in the past, has done some very, very harmful things to you. And I agree with that. And I totally understand how that could be upsetting. The person explained, though, they weren't having as much of a hard time letting that go as the fact that the person wouldn't admit they were wrong, and even more so that their friends, the friends of this person who had done the wrong things, felt that my client was the bad person because they were very wrapped up in the story being told by the person who had perpetrated all these bad things on my client. So if you can understand that idea that their focus was on these other people, and the fact that the one who had done them wrong wouldn't fess up, wouldn't admit to it, and they were so stuck on getting this confession and so stuck on other people then knowing that that person was wrong and that they were right. They were so caught up in that that they couldn't let it go. And it was consuming them, and they were getting angrier about it, and a lot of their happiness wasn't able to occur because they were stuck in being unhappy. And that's why if you look at the title, and I mentioned the fact that when you say you want to be happy and your happiness depends on getting revenge, being angry at someone else, this whole, being stuck on the other person's suffering so that you can be okay, that you feel that justice has been served. And I take it to the idea that, for one thing, even if someone did the most horrendous of things, there is no way to balance this. There's no perfect balance. When you seek to punish someone else or get revenge, or you want someone else to hurt like you hurt, there's a problem. How you measure that hurt and how they may measure it will never be equal. So you will never get this perfect justice where you feel that they have been punished enough to make up for what they did to you or to someone else, and no more. Because if you over punish them, then technically then they have a right to be angry at you. Can you see how this feud will never end? In fact, if you look at it in the world, there are countries that are still fighting each other. There are populations of people still fighting each other because of this perceived injustice, and the fact that they'll never reach a point where both sides say enough is enough, because one side will always want more. And they're very focused on the other person feeling pain or being miserable in order for them to be happy. And when you say it that way, you can actually hear how ludicrous that sounds, to say that my happiness depends on someone else being unhappy. Again, I'm not complaining, saying stop. Don't take all that out. I'm just trying to get you to look at what's going on and realize for a minute that being stuck, your happiness depending on other people's actions, is never going to work out for you for very long. Because even if the other people apologize and try to make amends and all that, Think about it. Going all the way back to the day you was born, are you ever going to equal all of those wrongs or those things that were done to you or to someone else? Well, really being hung up. And I'm not even saying that you have to go out of your way to forgive people. What I am saying is maybe the key to your happiness is letting go. In fact, here's the interesting thing about it, and it very much tied into something that happened to me today. Somebody was, in my opinion, extremely rude to me today and really, really poked me. And for a few minutes, I felt that intense fire of anger and rage come up in me. And it was almost overpowering for a minute. And then I had to pull back and start thinking about this situation, going, okay, I'm angry at them. Am I going to keep focusing on being angry? Because I have other things that I need to do, other things that are more important to me. In fact, my happiness to me is important. And being able to do the things in life that I want to do is important. And if I spend my time either dwelling on a past wrong or figuring out how I'm going to get somebody back, get revenge, get even, settle the score, then I'm taking away precious moments of my life to try to get the score evened up, which would seem to be actually opposite of the effect I want. If I want to be happy, spending time should be spent on this getting happy, achieving my goals, looking for what I want to happen, making things happen in my world that I see. In other words, using my power, my energy, my focus, my time on achieving my goals. And if I spend my time on trying to thwart others, get back at them, be angry at them, or dwell on it, it's not going to help me. It's not going to make me any better. In fact, if I take a minute to step back, I start to realize that the person that I feel did these things to me, you know, did they even realize what they were doing? Is it just their nature? Maybe they're just angry people themselves. I mean, think about it. If you see a wounded animal with its foot caught in a trap and it's viciously growling and biting and snapping at everything around it, it's doing it because it's in pain. And even if you go to help it get out of the trap, it may bite you because in its blind rage, it's just lashing out at everybody. It has nothing to do with you personally. And I have to believe that in the case of what happened to me today, it had nothing to do with me personally. It had nothing to do with who I am as a being, who my beliefs, my anything about me. It had all to do with this person. And in the same way of my client who was very stuck on someone who had done them wrong in the past, I don't think that the person who did them wrong, I don't think they were centering it and focusing it because of something they didn't like in my client. I honestly believe that that person was unable to feel happiness, was blinded by their own rage and anger, was basically doing things to hurt themselves. I mean, is there really a need for revenge on someone whose life already sucks that bad? I mean, think about it. This person obviously has a problem with being happy themselves. They're obviously not content with themselves, their lives, or what's going on around them. Because if you're really content and happy, you don't have time to be a butthole. You're too busy being happy. And if that is the case, then what punishment could you possibly put on someone who's already living in misery? It's like saying, I'm going to go to hell and find some people who are being tortured in the deepest pits of hell, and I'm going to punish them. Uh, really? They're already there. Because I do believe we create our own heaven and hells right here on this earth. And those people that are acting like that are already living out their hell. The question is for you to interact with them in such a way as to get revenge or get back at them, you're going to have to go to hell. Literally. You're going to have to enter their world, to try to do that. And then you're going to have to compete and see if you can make them hurt worse than they're already hurting. I'm not saying what they do is justified. What I'm saying is maybe they're just ignorant and they probably don't even know what they do. And if they do it, they don't know what it's doing to them. They don't realize that the misery they're causing other people is only making their life miserable. And before you heard what I have to say right now, maybe you yourself weren't thinking in that line, that you weren't realizing that by getting revenge, by being angry and stuck on that anger at that anger at other people, that trying to get back at other people, you didn't realize that you're wasting your precious life doing those things when you could be instead seeking to be happy, seeking to get on with your life, to move beyond these problems, to see something better. You're getting very much pulled into that person's hell. Is that really what you want? Now think about it. And I tried, and I say tried because I think I failed to get my client the other day to understand that being stuck on this, making the other person admit they're wrong, and then making that person tell other people that they were wrong, so that other people that are that person's friends can then go, oh yes, you were mean. And oh geez, how convoluted can we get? And how much time will you waste on plotting this out, getting this revenge, or getting even, or getting other people to do things that you think will make you happy, instead of just picking up your life and your pieces and going, I'm going to go do something that makes me happy. I'm going to go find something that makes me feel good. And that's what I'm going to focus on. In other words, you can focus on your success, or you can spend your time focusing on somebody else and not being successful yourself, because you're spending time focusing on them and dwelling on this and ruminating on this. You know what? Again, it's like that hot coal in a fire. You've picked it up and you realized it's burning you. And as it burns, at some point, you have to sit there and go, this is me holding on to this. This is me holding on to this anger that's burning me up from the inside, and finding a way to simply let it go. That's all you have to do, is let it go. If it helps you to sit there and think for a minute and go, you know what? That other person has their own miseries. And you know what? I feel for anyone who suffers. And if they're going to suffer, you know what? That's just too bad. I'm not going to lend to them suffering. I'm not going to add to it. I'm just going to pick up and move on. I'm going to be out looking for things that make me feel good, that make me successful, that make me happy, that make my life good. I'm going to look for the reasons and purposes and things in my life that will bring and add to me, instead of being stuck and dwelling on the other person's problems, what they've done wrong, and what I want to see come of that. Because you really can't do both at once. If you're going to succeed, you're going to have to focus on your success. So you pick. Do you want to be stuck, or do you want to move on? Your choice. Hope you have a great Sunday. Thank you very much. And I hope you also got the idea that sometimes I get really pissed off and I get angry. It's nobody is perfect. And I work very hard when that occurs to look at it, look deeply in myself, realize what I did, think about why I did it, and see if I can find a way to move past it. Y'all take care now. Have a great day.